Good morning, Northridge. This is Chris coming live from Northridge News.
And I'm Dion. In today's news, fires engulfing California with an unbelievable number of 5 fires.
These fires are more than devastating, as it is ripping through homes and having thousands mandated to evacuate, leaving personal belongings behind.
In other news, deportations have markedly increased in the U.S. in the past 3 decades, with about 340,000 people being deported from the country for no apparent reason.
Deportations are not sensitive to relatives or family members because they are forced to leave the country no matter what the circumstances are.
If one family member is being deported, it leaves the rest of the family to fend for themselves. It can be seen as physically damaging for the family's structure, all the while mentally damaging to each of the family members individually.
Family separation due to deportation has negative psychological impact on children and the adults taken from them.
Calling deportation traumatic for children and their families to go through would be an understatement. Studies have shown that children witnessing deportations and raids at such a young age don't only psychologically affect them now, but will take a toll on their mental health later in life.
They could acquire numerous mental disorders ranging anywhere from depression and anxiety to PTSD. It's sure hard to imagine what children and their families could be going through, Dion.
It sure is, Chris. Here's Isabel with the exclusive report of one of these children whose father, originally from El Salvador, was taken from her, her mother, and her 3 brothers.
Thank you, Chris. Deportation has numerous detrimental impacts on individuals who are deported and on the families and communities they are forced to leave behind. I'm here today with 15-year-old Zoe, her mother, and her 3 brothers. Let's see.
Hi, come in.
Hi, Zoe. Hi, Zoe. This is Isabel from Northridge News. I heard about your experience of the deportation of your father. I was wondering on how this situation has impacted you and your family.
Well, I've just been really sad because I just don't know when I'm going to be able to see him again, and I don't really understand why this is happening, and I just know he didn't do anything wrong, so it's just really confusing.
I'm so sorry to hear this, Zoe. Do you think this incident has affected how you're doing in school?
Yeah, it's been really hard. I've been really distracted because I just can't really focus because I've been thinking about him so much, and I haven't been able to really do any of my schoolwork because I've been helping out around the house with my mom and taking care of my 3 brothers.
Zoe, do you happen to know anyone at your school that's going through this as well?
No, and that's why it was such a shock to see my family go through this, and especially knowing he didn't do anything wrong, I just thought it would never happen to me, you know?
Yeah. Is it hard being the oldest sibling and seeing your brothers go through this?
Yeah, it's just hard to watch the toll it has now that my father's been deported. They would always come home from school and be so happy to see him, and now I've had to kind of take the place of that and just be the strong one in the family, you know?
I know this doesn't seem fair to you, but is there anything you'd like to say to whoever's watching this?
I just want my dad back. He was such a big part of the family, and it's just so sad to see, just someone that's always been here not in your life anymore.
I'm also here with Zoe's mother, Cora, asking her how this has affected her children.
It's affected them a lot. They have been wondering where their father is, and I don't know how to tell them that their father isn't around anymore due to him being gone. It has affected our income a lot because I have to take extra shifts to make sure that we have the proper amount of food and money to make rent and for their school supplies and stuff. And it really concerns me, my eldest daughter, because she does a lot for them as well. She picks them up from school, helps them with their homework, and does her own homework. So it's tremendously hard, and it's really tough trying to manage everything and just staying strong for them and me.
Such a tragedy hearing this from such a sweet family. Back to you, Chris and Dion in the studio.
I can't imagine the emotional stress these families go through during these situations. Some tough news to hear today, folks. Stay tuned for more news at 11.